Yeah, it's really cool how the church just pulls everyone together from all different places, and everyone just clicks together, especially on the AV team.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Oak Grove Lenten podcast by the Oak Grove Youth. This podcast is all about Lent and what our youth are doing as a youth group in the church and in the world. Today we're talking about how our youth serve the church through the audiovisual team, and I'm here with special guest Chase Malemezian. So Chase, tell me who you are and how you got to Oak Grove.
Okay, so I'm Chase. I've really been at Oak Grove for probably all my life. I was kind of born and raised here, and so I've just been really involved in the youth, and then I got into the AV team, and it's really helped me connect with God and like grow in my faith. So that's me, and yeah.
Awesome, man. And I'm CJ. I'm one of the youth directors here at Oak Grove. And as we are journeying through Lent together, just a reminder about what Lent is historically. It's this season of the church calendar known as the liturgical calendar of recalibration, of resetting, of preparing oneself to celebrate the holiest of days, Good Friday and Easter Sunday, celebrating the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ and what that means in our daily lives today. So today we're talking about the AV team. So first off, Chase, how did you get plugged into the AV team?
So I think when I was like in 8th grade, I got roped in. They were just like, this is a really cool thing we're starting. It's the AV team. So I got roped into that. We just started getting on cameras and filming the worship and making it especially like really accessible to people, especially during COVID, to just spread the worship while people were still in their homes. And I've just been sticking with it because it's just been really fun. So yeah.
Awesome. So can you tell me what it means to serve on the AV team? Like, what do you actually do?
So at every service, mainly the modern service is what I do. We all just put on our headsets, we pick up our cameras, and we just film the worship team, like Atticus and his band, and we film the sermons. And it's just a way to make everything that the worship team has put out there to look really good and put out on the internet for everyone to see. And it's really fun, and you just learn a lot doing it and meeting new people, and it's youth led, so we get to have a lot of good connectivity through that.
Awesome. And I think there are some youth that do stuff beyond cameras even, right? Like pro presenter, like running the slides and
Yeah, so we've had some youth that have been even directing the entire thing, which is pretty cool because it's a real thing going out onto the internet, filmed by youth. The slides are done by youth, directed by youth. It's really cool.
And when you say directed, what does that mean for a worship service? Is it not Atticus leading the?
No, so we have an AV booth that's behind the stage, and the director they'll call the shots. They'll pick which shot they want to go and be broadcast out to everyone, and they're like telling people what to do, but not always. It's up to the camera operator to figure out what looks good and find the best shot. And the director keeps the service moving forward, and they know everything behind the booth, and they just keep it going. It's a pretty big important job. So.
That's pretty cool, man. Okay, so we've used the term AV a lot, but just for our listeners out there, what does AV actually mean?
Okay, yeah, for those who don't know, AV means audio visual. So the visual is the camera work, all the youth that are running the cameras, and then we've also got the audio, which is all the sound that goes in to make sure everything matches up and looks good, sounds good, and it's a good service.
Awesome. And you've talked a little bit about making it accessible for people who might not be in worship, perhaps during the COVID pandemic. But why else would you say the work of the AV team is important?
So it's important to get the word out there. Like I said, people who can't come to church because they're maybe homebound or they're just not comfortable, then we can broadcast it to them and get it out to them and make sure like they know what's going on at the church and they know that it's going great and our AV is showing them what's happening.
Yeah, awesome, man. And I think another way that we are able to capitalize on recording the worship services is through social media, even with worship recaps that we do. I know Joseph each week will take that 1 or 2 minute clip of a pastor's sermon that really just hammered home the point, and underneath it put pictures of worship and stuff that happened, mostly taken by the AV team. And by being able to merge all that together, people out in the world are able to find inspiration throughout their week from what we're doing here on Sunday mornings. So it's a pretty cool way of furthering the impact of worship beyond just Sunday morning. So theologically, you know, we're recalibrating during Lent. We're preparing for Easter. We're trying to make this podcast somewhat meditative, theological, reflective. How are you serving God, etc.? What has AV meant for you spiritually, theologically? Do you feel connected to God because of serving on AV team?
So, I mean, obviously it's a little bit harder to talk about like the being connected because obviously they didn't have cameras and stuff back in Jesus' time. So, I mean, yeah, I feel connected, especially during the sermons. It's like a way to keep busy and to just put the best product out there that for God that everyone needs to see. It's just a way to get that out there and show everyone that there's good work going on in here. Yeah, it's just it's a really powerful thing. It can feel really good to do something, to know that you're serving and to know that it has a purpose, taking camera like photos and video, and your purpose goes out there for everyone to see.
That's awesome, man. And so I'm going to put you on the spot here, but I remember when you were in 8th grade, you had just gone on a trip to New York and you came back and you probably sat there for 5 minutes just swiping through your phone, showing me picture after picture after picture that you took. So did you get into film and photography before or after serving on the AV team? And how has, for your own personal life, the relationship between your interests and your ability to serve on the AV team intersected?
So I definitely got into like cameras and pictures and all this stuff after being asked to be on the AV team. It made me take a different look at God's creation, and I was just like, wow, I can do some really cool stuff with this. I can take some cool pictures, and it can really just like highlight all of God's creation and how beautiful it looks. So it was just like a way for me personally that to find like beauty in God's creation and show everyone, because I found something that I was good at, and I didn't know anything about cameras or AV before. It seemed so distant, and now after being roped into it through the church, then I was just like, wow, this is something that's really, it's good for the church and good for me.
That's awesome. And tell me about some of the relationships that you have with folks on AV, whether they're like mentors or just friendships that have blossomed by serving alongside folks in the AV team.
So with the AV team, there's always stuff I don't know. Like I don't know everything.
You don't say. No.
There's people that will tell me how to do stuff better, especially if some of the like youth that I'm friends with, and they'll like give me pointers, especially on like the mobile cam. That's this really cool one that I hold in my hand and it goes over my shoulders, and now you get some crazy cool shots with that. And that one's really cool. There's just so much to learn about that. And I can get to know these youth, and it just like some bonds that I probably would never have had before if I hadn't been in the AV team. So it's a great thing to meet new people that I usually wouldn't hang out with. And I'm like, wow, they're good at this and I'm good at this, and this is really cool.
That's awesome, man. Because I know like in daily life, our youth especially, I'm thinking of 3 or 4 people on the AV team, and all of them go to different schools, play different sports. So the AV team is almost like a central hub for them to really connect with each other.
Yeah, it's really cool how the church just pulls everyone together from all different places, and everyone just clicks together, especially on the AV team.
How do you dream of using some of the skills that you've learned from AV to continue to serve Oak Grove, but also to serve God in the world?
So, I mean, I'm not completely sure where I want to go in life, especially in like careers and things like that. But I think just the idea of serving through the AV team is something that I can definitely take forward in my life. It's just been a pretty big part of my life, and like a way to honor God using with the gifts that I have to serve God and show everyone God's power and beauty and stuff like that.
Awesome. And just off of that, in our Lenten devotionals this year, each week there is a drawing that was drawn by a youth or a child here at Oak Grove. I know Chase, you wrote one of them, but there's this spiritual practice called Visio Divina. Maybe you've heard of Lectio Divina, where you're just reading scripture, trying to hear what God is saying to you through the words of scripture. The spiritual practice of Visio Divina is literally looking at a picture that maybe God is using this image to convey a message to me. Do you think that in your experience on AV team and taking pictures in the community all over the country, it sounds like, perhaps the world, that maybe God can convey messages to us through images?
I think definitely. Sometimes during the AV worship, and I'm taking a picture, I've got this really great shot. It can make me feel like really moved. Like something inside me is like, wow, that's incredible. This must be God doing work through me and showing everyone this. So yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome, man. That's good stuff, dude. So say our listeners are out there and they're just, wow, I need to get to know Chase more. I need to join this AV team. What would be their next step immediately to jump in?
So I'm definitely talk to one of us. We're always looking for people on the AV team. Not like we've always got spots open, and it's not as hard as you think it would be. It's really easy to jump into. There's lots of people who can teach you stuff. It's just a great way to get involved in stuff that's not just youth, but the AV team, and it's a really great way to connect with the church as a whole through modern worship and taking videos and stuff like that.
Awesome. And what type of jobs are needed right now?
So right now we've got 3 normal camera operators, and those people, they just move, zoom, and focus, and they move the camera, get the great shots. We've also got a mobile cam, which I talked about earlier, and that camera goes on your shoulders, and you hold it around, and that one's kind of harder, but we definitely have people that are skilled at it and can teach you the way. And then we've got the pro presenter. That's the person moving the slides. Really important job because people are always reading those on the screens, especially in worship and online. And then the big job is the director, and we've got the director calling the shots and taking all the clips and put them all together and put them out there for everyone to see. So there's plenty of jobs for everyone to do.
That's awesome. And well, I hope any of our listeners who are interested in joining the AV team and serving God and serving our church in that way would reach out to one of the current members of the AV team. I know Pastor Joseph would be more than happy to talk to you. And you can find all of their information all over the internet and at church every Sunday morning. So now, to tie it back to the theme of the podcast overall, we're in Lent, and we're looking at Lent almost as a spiritual journey for us, right? We're journeying to the cross. We're journeying to resurrection. That journey is long, and we always need something to help us put the next foot in front of the other, right? And I've been leaning on hope being the driver for me, right? It's the hope that tomorrow can be a better day, the hope that the way the world is now isn't the way the world has to be, and that through God and partnering with God, we can affect change to build this new community. Where are you seeing hope just in the world and the AV team and worship? What are some signs of hope that you're experiencing?
So I think some signs of hope is like I said earlier, everyone has gifts, using our gifts to the best of our ability, showing what we can do is just like a really great thing in God's eyes. And we can just put ourselves out there with our gifts that we are good at, just to honor God. And that's what makes me hopeful, is just everyone has something to offer. Everyone has a place. Nothing is too small.
That is awesome and so inspiring to hear. You're not the first 10th grader to say those exact same words, and to hear it from so many of our youth is definitely keeping me going when I'm having my own bouts with cynicism. When I've just thought, everything's terrible, I'm reminded of the hope that I'm finding and the work that y'all are doing. So on that topic of hope, what is your hope for the future of the AV team in general?
I mean, of course, I want this AV team to grow and to be something that's really, truly positive. I just hope for it to grow and be this thing that can really inspire people to like be more active in church, or come to church for the first time after seeing our online AV stuff, and just be more connected to each other through AV team.
That's awesome, man. And then for each of these people that the relationships that you have with folks on the AV team, staying on the topic of hope, what do you hope for each of them?
I hope that they keep doing it and we get to know each other more. I've had some great relationships on the AV team, and we just hope our friendship grows through God.
Awesome, man. Chase and I were talking earlier about how so often with teenagers and young people, the church serves them, right? We throw these big events, they come, they get pizza, they jump on bounce houses, and then they leave. And I am continually inspired again by not only are these youth being served by the church, but they want to serve the church. They want to be the church. And it's my belief, not just a hope, but I firmly believe that because y'all are taking initiative to serve the church in this way now, that y'all will, for the rest of your lives, feel connected to wanting to serve God and neighbor. And I think that's just such a beautiful thing and gives me a ton of hope. So thank you, Chase, and thank you all at the AV friends serving in that way. Well, there you have it, folks. We're glad that you tuned in for our podcast episode on the AV team. Chase, any closing topics, hopes, or otherwise for the folks?
I mean, I just hope the AV team grows and everyone can see what great work we're doing for God. And it's just a great thing that's happening here, and everyone should definitely try to get involved.
Awesome, man. Well, just a reminder, I mentioned our Lenten devotional. If you have not picked up your Lenten devotional yet, you can pick it up at the portico. We have them in Sunday morning worship on your way in and on your way out. So I'd love to invite you into that spiritual practice that we're doing as a community. Thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you next week on the Oak Grove Lenten podcast. See ya.
Thanks for listening. Bye.